guys, welcome to Matters of Black. I'm your host, Jashay, and today we have an amazing guest, my dear friend, Roneka Taylor. Hi, Roneka.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl, hey.
Black Girl Magic.
So we have our book here. Our mommy
Had.
cancer. Okay. Before we get into your journey, why a book? Why a kid's book? Why did you decide to turn your cancer journey into a children's book?
Well, first, I would like to say thank you for having me. I am enjoying myself already, and we're not even in yet. But I would say that the first thing that inspired me was my son, Ryco. He had a young lady in his classroom, and she had cancer. And the teacher asked us to talk to our kids about what was going to happen because she lost her hair. And that touched me because I went through that myself. And I went to go look on Amazon for some books. I went to the library to look for some books. And it wasn't a lot of books for us. And so that was my first inspiration. And then also my second one was my daughters were 3 and 7 when I was diagnosed. And so I looked for books then. The American Cancer Society sent me books, but again, not a lot for us. And so I was like, okay. And when I went through my journey, I was like, I'm going to write a book about it for my daughters. And then I just put it off. And then when Ryco was in kindergarten, so that was 3 years ago, I was like, okay, it's time.
It's time.
And so I said, I kept saying, I'm going to write it. And then I'll never forget, I booked a room for a week. And I was like, for 1 week, I'm going to shut down. I'm going to take off being mommy. I'm going to take off being wife. I'm going to take off being everything. And I'm just going to go into this room and write. The day I checked into the room, I broke my foot.
Oh, wow.
Literally. I was in a hurry trying to get myself together, flew down the stairs, tripped over a shoe, crack. I heard the crack like you break a branch. And I was like, oh, it's just sprang. It was just a toy. I thought it was a toy. I did not know it was my foot. So I'm still moving around, go get Ryco from school, driving on the right foot, the driving foot. And I'm like, I'm going to just go to urgent care just to check it out. And when I checked in, I was like, I think I sprained my foot. By then it was like blowing up like the clumps. And I'm like, okay, God, you want me to write the book? That's what you want me to sit down.
Right.
So when God wants you to sit down, He's going to say, sit down.
Yeah.
I sat down and I wrote my book in 1 day.
Oh, wow. Instead of that whole week, he said
1 day.
1 day.
1 day.
And it's amazing because you said there have not been books for people of color. In this season, we're doing Black Author Edition. As an educator, because you were once a teacher, what grade did you teach?
K through 5. I was credentialed to do K through 8, but I stopped at 5th grade because all the schools that I taught at stopped at 5th grade. But if it would have went K6, K8, I probably would have gone there
further.
Yeah.
As an educator, how hard was it, or did you even have this in mind, that, wow, they don't have a lot of Black literature for our children? And also, when it comes to Black History Month,
right,
it's limited.
Shortest
even
month
then.
of the year.
Yeah, it's like even limited.
Right,
then. Like,
right.
What was your thoughts about that, or did you even think that at the time?
Well, at the time, when I was teaching, I taught in Compton, and I taught for 15 years in Compton, and I had a lot of Black students and a lot of Hispanic students, and I would like go digging and find books. So in my classroom, I had a lot of books for our color, but for touchy topics like this, it wasn't a lot. It would be like going to the park or simple stuff, but like real life issues, there wasn't a lot. So I had to get creative, and it was a small little section in the library, but them other books,
it's a lot. Huh?
It's a lot, hundreds. But ours is, and I just felt like I owed it to my culture to do it, and so that was really good. Yeah.
Now, do you see yourself, after this one book, in back of your mind, do you see yourself continuing to write?
I actually have 5 books.
Okay.
So this is just the first one I've published. Okay. Ryco and I wrote a book. We just finished it. The illustrator is on page 4 of 20. Okay. So it's another children's book, and it's about his preemie journey. So he helped me. So his name will be on the cover. He wrote about 5 or 6 of the pages, and he came up with the title. Okay. At 3:00 in the morning, he went to the bathroom and was like, "Mommy, I have the title. So we're going through the process, and it's really exciting because the illustrator is hand drawing everything. So the pictures look like me.
so
the pictures will look like him, and it's real. Like, this is more cartoony and graphic and all of that, but that will look a lot more like us. So
now, you having a young boy, black boy, how important is it to you to see or to share that writing journey with him?
he is really on my heart. Nobody told me having a boy would be like this. I'm a girl mom, or I was, when I'm a girl and a boy mom. And I just feel like they already have 2 strikes against them. Yes. Black and they're a boy. So I feel like showing him that this is something that you can do will inspire him to just go the extra mile. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, so we have this trouble. You going down the street and you may get in trouble just because you're a black boy. But what if you adopt this craft? Ryco is an artist. He's a singer. He's really good at drawing. So I'm showing him how to do this at 8. So when he's 10, 12, 11, if he want to write another book about soccer or taekwondo or whatever, he can. And he knows and sees that it doesn't take long. Like, we literally sat in my bed and wrote our book together. And it's on his preemie journey. And then I have some other ones that are coming out too on touchy subjects like postpartum depression. I experienced that as well. And so a lot of times when we have issues in our lives, we can't just go to the library and get a book, and we can relate to the people and how they look.
That's true.
And so I'm bringing it out, and my education background has helped me because I don't really need a lot of editing. Because I know, like, that grammar is off. You know what I mean? So yeah, he is super excited. He's involved in the color schemes and what color should our dress be? Okay, I'll take this. Okay, I'll take that. So, like, he's really involved, and he's seeing the process unfold. And he's like, oh, I can do this too.
Oh, that's amazing. And you probably are striking a little writing bug in him too.
Yeah.
With him even saying that. So when it comes to publishing, one of our issues with being a black writer, author, whatever, publishing, it's not a lot of black publishers. And that's another reason why, like, black work does not get any recognition and they're not on the shelves.
Right.
So could you see yourself maybe considering doing your own publishing? Are you self-published, or you just go through the whole, let me just find a publishing house and whoever publishes me? Or are you very intentional with specific publishers?
Well, that's a good question. And literally while you were talking, I was like, okay, God, do you want me to get into publishing? So maybe. So this book was published by a black company. Okay. So it was a woman in my former church, Strength Builders Publishing LLC. So I contacted an illustrator from my former church, and he connected me with her. Okay. And I just wanted to support, and she had her own publishing company, and so she did it. She's not doing this book that Ryco and I are working on. I'm self-publishing with Amazon. But that is something that I would probably look into doing because, like you said, it's not a lot of black publishers out there. I mean, it may be, but I don't know them personally. But I know a lot of people, so I'm a good writer. So I know that is something that I could probably get into.
And
too.
Because you have an education background, you might want to look into that because, like you said, when it comes to editing and grammatical errors and things like that, you will recognize that quicker than the regular person who doesn't have an education background.
Right. So I have homework.
Yeah. Pray about that one.
I'm going to pray about it.
It might be something you might want to get into as
well.
So, wrapping it up, let me ask you, how does it feel to call yourself an author? Like, have you really sunk it in and say, oh, I'm an author? Or do you just I'm going to just write books and that's what it is? Do you consider yourself an author? Like, how does it feel to even have books published? I can buy your books on Amazon. I can order. Like, how does that feel?
Remarkable. So last year, well, actually we're in 23 now. So 21 is when I put this book out, and I put it out on my birthday. Ooh. And I had been working, and I was trying to get it out. Well, when you put your book on Amazon, it has to go through the process and it has to be approved and all that. And my publisher was like, Roneka, I'm so sorry, but I don't think it's going to happen. I literally woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning from an email from Amazon and it said, published, approved. And I was like, I was in tears posting like, oh my God, this is the best birthday ever. I can't believe it. I got approved on my birthday, literally 5 o'clock in the morning. And it feels good. Yes, I feel like an author and I feel like I have a lot of stories of things that my people have been through, and they just need something simple. Like adults can read my book. It's a children's book, yes, but it's also for family members who has had a family member who has gone through cancer, spouses, significant others, cousins, parents, grandparents. Anyone can read my book. It's a true story. I couldn't put it all in a book because it's a children's book, and you know, with children, their attention spans. So I kind of shortened it, but it's for everyone, and all of my topics will be like that as well. Things that we go through that we really don't want to touch on because they're uncomfortable, but need to be discussed. They need to know, like one of the things in the story I talk about is how you can be that support system for a family member going through it. You don't need to come to them crying because it's not going to help. It may make you feel better, but it's not going to help them. You need to be positive. You need to be careful when you're touching them. And I talked about things like that in my book. And so I feel like an author that has a lot of stories and all the tests that God has brought me through I've turned them into something positive. And you will see at least 1 to 2 books a year for the next couple of years.
Ooh, yes. Okay. So I did say wrapping up, but you know, the conversation's so good, I have to ask you more questions. Okay. So are you going to do an adult version of your cancer journey in a book as well for women and men? Because we know men go through cancer as well. How does that look? Does that, you know, for the near future, or is it just like you're going to just stick with the kids' book and just leave that chapter closed?
I honestly have never thought about that, but I think what I'm going to do is finish with the series of hard to reach issues first in the children's version. And then I may write something for adults. Is that a request? Yeah. It's a request. It's a request. Okay. So I mean, especially if I get into publishing, I'm going to be like, because listen, this is a true story. This is a true story. I contacted a publisher who was telling me they're going to be able to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. And they were like, but we take 80% and give you 20. And I was like, for my work, you get not just more, but way more. I was like, yeah, no, that's a no for me.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of people do the self-publishing and whatnot, because I mean, this is your heart, sweat, blood, and tears. And it's true. And it's like everything in the book really, really happens in real life. Like nothing, no fiction at all. No fiction at all. Like it really happened. Literal. And you can't get literal things. And you can't give them. You can't get 80. You can't get 80. Yeah, that's a lot. I was like, that means I'm gonna get 2 pennies and you gonna get yeah, no, it's a no. But I mean, I journal right now. I just got a divorce. It is legally final, and in the process of the divorce, I started journaling again. I used to journal a lot when I was in like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and then for some reason, I don't know why I stopped. Life, kids, busy, all of that. But I've started back, and it has aided in my healing process. So writing has always been therapy for me. So I'm sure I could do an adult something. Maybe you got some adult journals out of, you know. My sister has some adult journals out. Of my divorce story. Healing. Or whatever. Divorce is actually one of my children's books. See? Since you brought it up, I could tell you. I might have to get with you on that one because I actually found a poem that I wrote for my son. And basically it was telling him how
it's not his fault.
He's loved. It had nothing to do with him.
That's it.
I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna take a picture of it.
I got chills because that is what my book is about. Because a lot of times, like my parents were divorced when I was 5. And a lot of times kids, well, mommy, was I too bad? Mommy, was I? And so they will see, no, it had nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with you. You are loved from both of us. We get along very well, and we keep the children first. And they need to know. A lot of us need to know. Every color, not just us.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, it's not. Okay, so now, before we leave, I want to know, where can we find your books? Because we definitely want to tell our viewers, like, look, go support Roneka. Where can we find your books? And also, if you're on social media, let us know what social media you're on so we can let the people know.
Okay, so my book is on Amazon. They have a paperback cover. Paperback is $14.99. The hardback is $18.99. Barnes and Noble, Walmart.com, I think, had it. And I will be doing a lot of walking into stores, like starting in July and August, to get ready for October Breast Cancer Awareness, to just put it on their shelves. I'm going to have it at my church store, a couple of both kinds of the book. I am on Instagram, Roneka Taylor. Not hard to find me because I had a name, but I was like, no, I need my real name. I'm on Facebook, Roneka Etheridge Taylor, because I have a lot of Etheridges, and we always try to connect because there's so many of us. I'm still meeting them.
Okay.
And I'm 44.
Yeah.
So I have that on there just so people can find me easier.
Well, y'all heard it. We hope you guys enjoy this story and her storytelling. We hope you guys enjoy this episode. We love y'all. Catch us next week on Matters of Black. You don't want to miss it. Bye.
Bye.
That was good.
That was fun.